Pachycephalosaurus. Welcome guys once again to the channel Ranking with Dinosaurs, where we rank, you guessed it, today, dinosaurs. So we're going to be taking a look today at the thick-headed, domed, bipedal dinosaurs. I got a little confused there, but yeah. Basically, today, Pachycephalosaurs are on the spotlight, and we're going to be ranking them, although, honestly, there's not too much about them. I mean, we know quite a bit, but usually their fossils are a little bit spotty, you know, they're not the most complete family that we have. A lot of their members, full reconstructions, we base them on other ones, more complete. So, it's going to be a little tough one, more like, basically to differentiate each one of them, but I'll try to do my best here to illustrate what makes each of them, like, interesting. So, I'm going to be starting with WANNANOSAURUS. So, we're going to be starting with the most primitive Pachycephalosaur that we know of. If not, let me know which is the actual one, but to my understanding, it's this one. It's WANNANOSAURUS. It's a very basal Pachycephalosaur. And we know it was basal because, well, first of all, the rocks that were found, most Pachycephalosaurs are known from late Cretaceous, like Maastrichtian almost, and this guy is from, I think, early Middle Cretaceous, something like that. But yeah, this guy has a rather flat skull, which is weird because, you know, Pachycephalosaurs, their whole thing is they have big-ass heads. But yeah, WANNANOSAURUS, rather flat, and large, like, openings on the skull. And you might be thinking, yeah, but, you know, it could be, you know, a juvenile or something like that. But no, the actual bones were, like, fused together, which, you know, shows that usually younger individuals, their skulls, like their skull bones are still, like, not entirely fused. That's obviously for almost every single animal that has a skeleton. But yes, we know he was an adult when it died. And, you know, some other things that you might be suggesting that he was a juvenile. No, it was just an adult at 2 feet long. So he was insanely small too. But yes, WANNANOSAURUS, I mean, it's kind of adorable. It's kind of cute. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it in a comfortable B tier. I might put it in C tier, but for now, we'll just leave it at B tier. HOMALOCEPHALE. Now, going a little bit further in time to Mongolia, and specifically the Nemegt Formation. HOMALOCEPHALE has its home here. Now, you might have heard of the Nemegt Formation, very famous. You know, things like Adasaurus, Nemegtosaurus, Tarkia, Seychania, all Deinocheirus, Gallimimus, all these incredibly big animals, very very popular, very famous. But you know, HOMALOCEPHALE usually you don't see it that much. But yeah, this is a very small Pachycephalosaur, and it actually shared this habitat with another Pachycephalosaur, PRENOCEPHALE, which we'll talk later. But we thought HOMALOCEPHALE was a juvenile of PRENOCEPHALE when he was discovered. But we've actually found PRENOCEPHALE babies, or juveniles. So we can put that to rest, and as well, it was noted to be an actual adult by the fused bones as well. But yeah, HOMALOCEPHALE, very small. The head is, I think, the way we describe, like separate or can tell what kind of differentiate Pachycephalosaurs between each other are obviously the heads. It's kind of like Ceratopsians. I mean, they're both marginocephalians, you know, from that same group. But yeah, these guys have a more like wedged shape. I kind of see it like it's a little crown with a cushion on top. I don't know. That's kind of like how I see it. But yeah, HOMALOCEPHALE, it's kind of, again, these guys are really small too. Like, Pachycephalosaurs are much smaller than you think. But when you think of Pachycephalosaurs, I know what you think. And that's, yeah, the biggest one. But yeah, HOMALOCEPHALE, I mean, their heads were still pretty thick. So, and they had really long legs. I forgot to say that. So they were probably like really good runners, so they were probably running from danger a lot. Homalocephale, I like it. I kind of like the shape of the skull more than WANNANOSAURUS, so I'm gonna put in A tier. Stegoceras. Stegoceras? Stegoceras? I don't know how you say it, but we got the next Pachycephalosaur. This guy's from the Dinosaur Park and Old Man Formation. This is in North America, basically all the part of the north. So these guys were, again, really small. 8 feet, well, a little bigger than our previous two, but 8 feet long is pretty sizable. And yeah, so these guys are really well known. These guys are one of the most complete Pachycephalosaurs. And these guys have a more triangular looking skull, and when I say triangular, I mean it from like a profile view. They have like a really triangular looking one, but they have a really short snout, so they were like very small mouths, and also their domes were like really thick, but like thick, like I'm saying like a dome. I'm saying like an actual dome, like a bicycle helmet, basically. Bicycle helmet, yes. But yeah, these guys were really adorned, like their actual domes were adorned with a lot of little spikes and nodes, tubercles. I think that's what they call it. And I think they look really, really, I don't know, regal. I guess you could say it that way. But yeah, I really like Stegoceras. It's adorable again. Again, if we had Pachycephalosaurs today, I think it would be one of those dinosaurs that would absolutely domesticate, 100%. But yes, what else can I say about Stegoceras? I mean, they had really small teeth, so they weren't like they can eat like very tough plant matter. So probably eat like small leaves, fruits, and seeds, like really simple stuff. But yeah, Stegoceras, or how you want to say it. I'm gonna put an A tier. I like it. I really like Stegoceras. PRENOCEPHALE. Now, this guy is the other Pachycephalosaur from the Namek formation, and actually made an awesome appearance in Dinosaur Planet, I think. Yeah, in the Velociraptor episode, they were in Mongolia, which I don't think that's correct, because Velociraptor is not from the Namek formation. So, a little bit of inconsistency there, but we'll let it pass. It was an awesome documentary. But yeah, this guy's, again, similar to Homalocephale, but their differences, again, if you want to know what a Pachycephalosaur looks like, or which one it is, look at the skull. This guy's had a more rounded skull, a dome, and it was more sloping towards the front. Again, as with Stegoceras, not Homalocephale, they had those little bony spikes and bumps around the head, so you can easily differentiate it from Homalocephale, which, again, I mean, they were from the same formation, and it had the flatter skull, the other one, so you could probably see why they thought it was an actual juvie, but no, it wasn't. And yeah, again, the PRENOCEPHALE is actually not known from a lot of post-cranial material, almost entirely of skulls. So the bodies are actually inferred from other Pachycephalosaurs. Probably Homalocephale too, and the other ones from North America. But yeah, I mean, PRENOCEPHALE. Another thing I wanted to bring up is sometimes Pachycephalosaurs are depicted with a lot of these quills, and while I like it, again, I think it's more inferred because of the larger marginocephalian group with ceratopsians, and because Psittacosaurus was actually found with these. So I guess it's not wrong to put them on Pachycephalosaurs, but until we have like hard evidence, which I hope we find, these are just speculative. Which, I mean, it's fine by me. It has a basis, so I'm not gonna be mean about it and say it's wrong. So PRENOCEPHALE, I think I'm gonna put it in A tier. I'm gonna lower Homalocephale. SPHAEROTHOLUS. Now, this is another Pachycephalosaur, this time from Western US and Canada. And these guys were really widespread. Like, we've got like almost, I think, 5 species already described of SPHAEROTHOLUS. And very widespread again from Western US, Canada, almost all over North America. And also the very long duration of the fossils, actually, like from when they lived, like the actual range of time that they lived is actually crazy, because they go from the late Campanian to the late Maastrichtian. So that's a bunch of millions of years. And the fact that they survived all of that, I mean, I guess it just shows that we're being small also helps you survive for much longer. And yeah, these guys again, um, these were very derived pachycephalosaurs, since these guys lived like almost to the end of the lived to the end of the Cretaceous, and they probably also coexisted with the last pachycephalosaur, Pachycephalosaurus. So that is Sphaerotholus. Again, another small one. I don't think it's very remarkable. I mean, we got a lot of species, so I might have to put in A tier. Am I going to put in A tier? I am going to put in A tier. Pachycephalosaurus, the thick-headed lizard, the main guy, the star of the Pachycephalosaur family. I mean, the whole group is named after him for a reason. This is a big-ass Pachycephalosaur. Usually, like the norm is for Pachycephalosaurs to be small little guys, but no. The big Pachy said, I have to live in not only the Lance Formation, in the Hell Creek Formation, with a bunch of absolutely insane dinosaurs. Not only dinosaurs, pterosaurs too. So I had to defend myself. And what was the response of Mother Nature? Just make it Pachycephalosaur and just buff it. Make it 15 feet long and give it 900 pounds to fight. Thank you, Mother Nature, again, for giving us such an insane-looking animal. It's so crazy looking. Again, Pachycephalosaurus, we know it. It was only known mainly from a skull and some really thick head, like thick skull fragments, which were 9 inches long. You could see why paleontologists thought this guy's head butted before. So sorry. Before it was not very. It was very debated, but by now there is a lot of evidence supporting the fact that they did use it in some type of headbutting, because there is some actual like injuries sustained by these skulls that actually healed. So they were definitely using it for ramming, probably again for interspecies fighting. Must be for mates. If there's something we can't really like explain in a dinosaur, like some weird anatomical thing, it was probably for mating. That is basically nature. So Pachycephalosaurus again. There is one thing with Pachycephalosaurus and a couple of other Pachycephalosaur fossils from the same formations. Now, you might be thinking, this video is almost done, and where is... I haven't heard Stygimoloch or Dracorex. Now, guys, until it is proven that these two other genuses are their own thing, for now, it is most likely they are phases, ontogenetic phases of Pachycephalosaurus. Dracorex being a juvenile and Stygimoloch being a subadult. It makes sense. All the evidence points that it makes sense. But I've seen some people actually argue against it, which, to each their own. It's good that we argue about things and we question things, not just agree with everything. But from where I stand, I think Pachycephalosaurus should be the genus, and the other two are probably just, again, phases on the different growth stages for Pachycephalosaurus. So Pachycephalosaurus on the tier list. I mean, you already know. It'll be a crime not to put it in S tier. Come on. It's gonna be an S tier. The lonely S tier. There it is, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is the Pachycephalosaur tier list. This is a bit of a shorter video. There's not a ton of Pachycephalosaurs, and they're not very insanely different. I took the ones that are like, they vary a little bit. But basically, they're very similar unless you are flat-headed Pachycephalosaur or you are the actual Pachycephalosaurus with a big ass dome, and you're like huge. So that's gonna be the tier list, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please comment; it helps a lot. What would be your tier list? What's your favorite Pachycephalosaur? Like, subscribe. It helps a lot, really. We are almost to 500 subscribers. Really appreciate the support, guys. I've been reading your comments. Again, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching.